Hey Defying Gravity Volleyball family, it's Coach T and I'm back with another YouTube video. In today's YouTube video, we are continuing the series where I explain all the volleyball positions, and in this part 2, it's all about the libero. Let's just hop right into this video. There's a lot to talk about. Since this is a beginner's explanation, let's just start right at the forefront of the fundamentals. So what is a libero and what does their position do? The libero is arguably one of the toughest positions on the court because they are responsible for a lot of the defense on their team. Just like in part 1 where I said the setter is the offensive leader on the team, the libero is the defensive leader on your team. Two very vital and important roles. Any new person that comes to watch a volleyball game usually looks on the court and sees that there's a different color jersey out of the 6 players on the court, and they're like, why is that one player wearing a pink jersey and the rest of their teammates are wearing blue? I don't really... That is because the libero needs a different color jersey to show the referee and the scores table that they can just switch on and off with players instead of waiting for a ref substitution. And just like I said in part 1, the setter is the quarterback of the team. The libero is like a goalie in soccer or football, whatever you call it from where you're from. Because just like a goalie is aiming to stop their opponent from getting points earned by scoring in the net, the libero is responsible for not letting their opponent get a attack down on the floor. It's not exactly like a goalie in soccer, but it's very similar, and I think it gives that clear imagery for people that are super new to volleyball and need that comparison to a more popular sport. Don't get confused though, there are other people in the back row that are also responsible for communicating, for getting up those passes on serve receive, for digging, etc. And a lot of people presume that you have to be super tall to be good at playing volleyball, but the libero position clearly shows that you don't need to be tall to be able to play and have a huge role on a volleyball team because they're not even going in the front row. You don't need to be tall to play in the back row. The libero is our leader on defense, so they're getting the brunt of all of the toughest serves, the toughest digs, and their opponents aren't aiming at them because they know that's probably their best passer, a libero, right? But a good coach will position a libero and adjust their defense around their block, etc. So the libero is constantly moving, it's constantly communicating, you're constantly trying to get a perfect first touch because the first touch is going to show how the next touch is going to go. So if you're a starting libero, you probably have the most consistent passes on your team. And even though ideally a coach would want their libero to get the first touch on something or to get a dig, so that way you can keep setting up your offense, again, I will reiterate, that does not mean that the libero is the only one getting the first touch. It's not happening usually at all. The opponents, if they're smart, are looking to hit the ball away from the libero. So let's move into the next section. What sets apart a phenomenal libero from a great libero? I thought of 6 attributes for a phenomenal libero, and they include agility, consistent passing performance, forearm and overhand, ability to be a leader, strong communication skills, quick reaction time and ability to read a play before it happens, and last but not least, they're scrappy. As I said in part 1 about the setter, of course, agility is an attribute that most athletes want, not just in the libero position, but in most athletic positions in any sport. But I have to reiterate, as a libero, you need to have agility. You're the defensive leader for a reason. If you're not light on your feet and quick and efficient, you're not just moving around, you're not just skitter-scattering all over the court, you're moving with purpose. Agility to me is the number one thing a libero needs to have. I would never put a libero on the court that's heavy on their feet, is leaning forward instead of taking those 2 steps forward to get a good pass, especially with the fundamentals of forearm passing. Your reaction time, which is the second point, quick reaction time, is vital because if you go a half second later to move to a ball, that completely changes the trajectory of your pass. Those little tweaks completely change a pass. If you've done so many reps and you've done a lot of work in season and off season, you'll be able to read your team's blockers and adjust your defense. If you watch NCAA Division I volleyball, women's or men's, you're going to see how much a libero is shifting, and not just them, the other people on their team as well. Anytime they see, oh, the outside's hitting, they're adjusting. Oh, the middle's hitting, I'm adjusting this way. Liberos need so many reps and practice working alongside their blockers on their team. My third point is definitely ability to lead, because you can have agility and quick reaction time. But if you're not able to call off your teammates like, I got, because you know you have the better angle than them to get a pass, then there's going to be a lot of miscommunication. And of course, the fifth point, consistent passing performance, that's a given. Most people know about. You need to have a lot of reps, a lot of practice, because each hit, each serve, each free ball is different from the next one. It never looks exactly the same. So you need to have that baseline fundamental of correctly passing. And finally, the sixth point is being scrappy. So a lot of people do say that scrappy can be a term that's not positive in volleyball. But for me, I take it as a positive. Yes, like if I see my libero just diving on the floor when they truly did not need to dive to get that pass, I'm going to say you better stop. But to me, scrappy as a libero means that you are the one that's going to run and completely throw your body on the floor to get a touch up on the floor, even if you don't know if it's going to go up and your teammates are going to get it. And you've probably seen, if you've watched D1, Olympic volleyball, that they will never let a ball drop without effort. In this next section, I'm going to tell you guys about the liberos that I think you should be watching. You should be getting lots of reps, but you should also be watching volleyball. Those are the two biggest ways that you can learn and get better at the sport. First is Lexi Rodriguez. A lot of new fans or old fans of volleyball love Lexi. She just finished her senior year at Nebraska as their starting libero and already got signed to a professional team. I'll put it right here. She just announced it. But Lexi is also a hitter's worst nightmare, because if you see her on the other side of that net, you know it's going to be very difficult to get your hit to finish if it's anywhere near where she is. She knows where to place her body according to who's hitting on the other side, where her blockers and defense is, who to cover, when to call them off. But most importantly, how scrappy she is. She will not let a pass fall, and she will get that touch on it. Even when you can't see where the hit is going, she somehow put her body there to get it back up. It's so fun to watch Lexi play. Another fan favorite libero, Elena Scott. Elena is the libero for Louisville, and she was just in the D1 finals. It was really fun to watch her play. They played against Penn State, and I've always been a Penn State fan, so of course I was rooting for Penn State, but it's very, very hard to not root for Louisville in general, but also Elena Scott. She is, again, so passionate about the sport, and she has many similar attributes to Lexi, where her passion shines through, her fundamentals are so apparent, and it's really, really hard to get a swing down on her when she's on the other side of the net. It's actually really fun, the fact that I can see all these similarities with Lexi and Elena, how passionate they are about the sport, how baseline fundamentally they're so good at it that they're able to read and put their body in the correct place at the right time, but still get such a perfect pass. That's what is really so amazing to me. And again, yes, they're D1 athletes and professional athletes now at this point. It makes volleyball so much more intense and fun when there's rallies going with such intense swings. It's really, really fun to watch Elena and Lexi play their position and just really show what it means to be a strong woman in the libero position. And last but definitely not least, Eric Soji is the men's USA libero. He is, again, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, a very passionate libero who makes it known how obsessed he is with volleyball. So that's just my point, to really put it out there. I don't know these people. I follow them online. I follow their journeys. I watch their games, etc. But I can see and hear from how much they say how passionate they are about volleyball, and it shows not just through their words, but through their actions and how they play. Eric is constantly in the gym getting reps. He's constantly posting about volleyball. He's constantly wondering how he can get better. And he plays at the Olympic level, and he's a 3-time Olympic medal winner. He is such a good libero. He's at the Olympic level and playing against the best men's volleyball athletes in the entire world and winning so many medals. He is getting the brunt, like we learned, of the toughest serves and swings, and he still is able to take so much heat off of those hits and keep it on his side to set up the offense. It's really, really important to learn from athletes like that, Lexi, Elena, and Eric, who are showing you with their body how they're able to keep a ball on your side, how to still have a perfect pass off of an attack. I cannot reiterate enough. If you want to learn more about the libero position, you need to watch liberos like these three, or start doing your own research and find liberos that make you feel passionate about the sport. Now, before we wrap it up, I do want to mention that there are a lot of technicalities that go into being a libero. I would be able to make an entire video about the libero technicalities. So just make sure you comment down below if you'd want a video like that. This video is more about talking about the fundamentals and basics of what a libero is, the 101 beginner basics. With that, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of this series of the libero. Next, I don't know which position I'll do next. Middle, right side, opposite, DS. I just said opposite twice. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me so much, more than you know, to like and subscribe. It shows me what you guys like, what you want more of. Please don't forget to also follow my TikTok and Instagram if you're on those socials. It also helps me a lot, which finally leads me into, please don't forget to check out my website, defyinggravityvolleyball.com, where all of my blog posts, my YouTube video links, etc. are all there. I hope this video helped you out, my little liberos, and I hope I see you in the next part or just another video. Bye!